Okeechobee Waterway offers boaters with protected passage across the Florida Peninsula on a 134-mile route, saving at least 165 nautical miles of travel if you were to navigate around the southern tip of Florida. Two route options exist for the waterway. Route 1 is also referred to as the Open Lake or Cross Lake route. It offers quicker crossings and the ability to carry more draft. Route 2 is also called the Rim Route for obvious reasons. We chose Route 2 for a more relaxed cruise and to search out an anchorage in South Bay. We set out on our 2-day journey from the Landings Marina on the Caloosahatchee River in Fort Myers, just south of the Cape Coral Bridge. We took along our iPad, loaded with the Active Captain app, to see what anchorages and other tidbits of information could be gleaned from it. Downtown Fort Myers is a fun location to visit. The Edison and Ford Winter Estates are here. Also, you can find some wonderful restaurants, and if you happen to enjoy theater, check out the Florida Repertory. There are no transit fees on the waterway, and locks typically operate during a 12-hour day. Check schedules online before you travel. Occasionally, maintenance issues can slow you down, as was the case on our voyage. During normal operations, the waterway passage will probably require a little over 15 hours at 10 knots without unwarranted delays. Know your height clearance before starting your trip. You can be fined for causing an unnecessary opening. The power plant in North Fort Myers is famous for attracting manatees because they thrive in the warmer temperatures of the plant's discharged water. Check signage for manatee slow zones. Lockmasters maintain a watch on Channel 13 and bridge tenders monitor Channel 9. Ready your fenders for the upcoming locks placed at the rub rail height. Some people like to have one set of 2 or 3 fenders and place them on the wall that the lockmaster directs them toward. We happen to own 4 fenders, so we put 2 on each side. It requires less scrambling if the lockmaster tells you to tie up on a side opposite of what you were hoping for. Some lockmasters are strict in how they want you to enter and will tell you how and when. Listen and obey. Wait for the red light to turn green before proceeding into a lock. Some lockmasters assume you know what to do and don't communicate with you. If that happens, pull as far forward in the lock as possible to allow for other boats behind you. Have your mate grab a line from the lock's wall and hold on. Depending on the boat's length, 2 lines should keep you in place during passage. Having at least 1 or 2 linesmen on board is best. It is extremely important to remember to keep an eye on those lines throughout the lockage, especially if you are going down a significant depth. A lockmaster may tell you what order to exit. Again, listen and obey. If not, you typically leave the lock in the order you entered. However, it is wisest for slower boats to linger and allow the faster ones to pass. Hopefully they will do so with kindness. You need to think about the obvious or ask your fellow captains while hanging around in the lock at what speed they cruise so that everyone can maintain a comfortable speed. Keep your radio on channel 16 in case someone wants to pass you. Waiting for a lock means you'll need to pay attention to the water depth, the winds, currents, and obstacles. Generally, it's smooth entering and exiting a lock unless there's a lot of wind or odd currents happening below the surface. Always be prepared for the worst situation because you can definitely get caught off guard and pulled in at an odd angle toward a wall or another boat. You'll often see smoke from sugarcane being burned in the area. Massive construction and dredging projects were underway in the Okeechobee. For the most part, the south rim is just a large ditch with a lot of birds, alligators, and fishermen to see along the way. This is the turnoff to Roland Marina, a marina that most waterway boaters stop to use. Reservations are recommended, and if you have a reservation at the nearby hotel, it does not include a boat slip. We anchored in good holding and 13 feet of water at South Bay Anchorage. There was a good breeze and very few bugs that night. The alligator and bird watching and the sunset were wonderful. You can find some anchorages noted on the Active Captain app. On our return trip, we anchored here again, but it was terribly hot and buggy, and it rained a great deal. Early the next morning, we headed back to the ditch and then made a cut across the lake at marker 32 because we'd heard reports of low depths. Remember to lower your antenna if needed. Our first major bottleneck of the trip occurred at Port Mayaka Lock because the Army Corps of Engineers was doing some scheduled repairs. There were quite a few boats awaiting lockage. The lockmaster chose to keep both lock sides open so that our parade could move through. Unfortunately, the joy we felt after zipping through one lock changed when all of the boats met up for the next lock. If your boat happens to be smaller and faster, it does not entitle you to cut in front of others. If there are a lot of boats awaiting lockage, it's your job to figure out who was there before you. Even the happiest boater can become unhappy when his position is taken from him. You'll see a lot of homes and businesses along the waterway. Many have no wake signs posted. Some look official, others do not. Just remember that you are responsible for your wake. It can sometimes be very trying on your patience. Hang in there. You will get to the other side of Florida soon enough, and remember how many miles and hours and possible rough seas you avoided by using the Okeechobee Waterway.